Okay, today we are playing a game on Rialto. We are in the Platinum SR range, and we will be playing Genji on attack and Zenyatta on defense. And our current team composition is Reinhardt, D.Va, Genji, Junkrat, Moira, and Lucio. So reasons to be sad about the team comp: no Hanzo, no Zenyatta, no Zarya. The three usual reasons to be sad about your team composition these days. So, cool. Nothing else to say. Let's start the game. So we've got to attack Rialto first, which is a trial I find to be extremely cumbersome because of this fucking death hallway right at the start. Now, we are playing Genji. Good map to play Genji on. There's quite a bit of verticality to this map, and there's a lot of options for flankers, so that's cool. So we've learned they have a Widowmaker. We could see Hanzo's silhouette briefly behind the Reinhardt, though the quality's a little hard to see. So, you might have noticed that we haven't seen our Reinhardt yet, right? Watch the back. Kills himself. Reinhardt players are really bad at this game, and I don't think there's any clearer example of that than just, where's Reinhardt? Ooh, into the water. Oh, we're on the console today, by the way. The Xbox, it looks like. Consider yourself warned. How did the Reinhardt end up over here? Junkrat was responsible for this. Okay, cool. So he's dead. We've seen Widowmaker over here. We're going to come and jump on Widow. Widow kills Ana for us, which is very, very nice of her to do. So they're missing their Reinhardt now. We're missing our Reinhardt, but you know, whatever. Junkrat just killed Widowmaker. We killed Ana, and now we're on this Hanzo. Our dash came off cooldown right as we killed him. So, you know, that's cool. Try to dash through Bridget. Bridget gets killed before we even have to do anything to her. Hooray, we didn't really have to do anything to capture this checkpoint. We did kill Ana, to be fair. So Zarya is a pretty scary one to attack because she's currently decent charge. You know, scary for Zenyatta, for Genji. Also scary for Zenyatta, but most things are scary for Zenyatta. That's just kind of the way the hero is, you know? So we are right-clicking into Zarya right now. Really, if you're going to right-click into someone, the idea is basically to press right up against the person so you get all three shurikens to hit. Because that's the whole point of the right-click, is that it does, like, burst damage, right? Because if you left-click, it takes a while for each shuriken to hit. If you right-click, they can all hit at the same time, so you just, like, shotgun them into the person. So the idea is more to, like, press right up against the person to right-click in them, so you can just, like, burst them to death, basically. But that's scarier to do to a Zarya, especially one that's a decent charge. If you can't hit them with, like, all of the shurikens off the right click, or the spread, you're usually better off left clicking them, because it doesn't, the right click is easier to hit somebody with, but if you only hit them with one shuriken, it's kind of pointless. So if you can't, like, get all of the shots into one person, the idea is to instead just do the line, because then you can get all of them to still hit, even at range. It is harder to hit, but if you only get one shuriken to hit off the right click anyway, that's not exactly a lot of damage, so. So we've got to try and kill this Reinhardt right now. He's pretty low health. We could, if we're feeling brave, still go for him right here, because he is low, and we don't see any healers in sight, so we could dash through him, and then right-click into him a couple more times from behind, and he would die. We instead decide to back out instead of going for that one. Backing out, unlikely to end in catastrophe, but I think we could have probably still killed Reinhardt right there if we were a little bit more brave and dashed through him to try and finish him off. Surprisingly killed Reaper right here, because, ooh, all of those were a headshot. Easy money right there. Bursted that boy to death. He's probably like, what the fuck? So we've got Dragon Blade built up. We can hear our Junkrat using the tire right now, so we probably don't need to use it. Didn't quite dash soon enough, and we ended up not getting the reset on that because we killed him before we dashed, which is sad. Whenever we dash through someone, we're really hoping to get the dash reset, so we kill him surprisingly fast, which is going to happen sometimes, but we really don't want to dash through somebody and then not get the refund on the dash, because that's the easiest way to die as Genji, is dash through someone thinking you're going to kill them, don't get the reset, you end up dying. So we do have Dragon Blade built up, and we've managed to deflect the Graviton right back into Zarya's face. Let's go back and watch that one again, because it happens so rarely, we have to enjoy it while we can. Bam. Nice. And then we decide we're going to pull out the Dragon Blade as well, because who the fuck wouldn't? Right? Like, I'm like, I'm like, we shouldn't really have pulled out the Dragon Blade right there, because it looked like we were probably going to kill him regardless. But who the fuck wouldn't have pulled out the Dragon Blade after deflecting the Graviton back into them, right? That's just what you're gonna do in that situation. So we get real greedy trying to get the kill on this Hanzo. We should be, like, more willing to give this up, because Dragon Blade is running out, and Mei's here. Mei is very scary, especially to, like, a Genji, right? So, like, we see Dragon Blades running out. We're not gonna kill this guy. We should be more willing to just give up on this kill rather than chase it down. We do, like, very almost get him, but Mei being right there makes it scary, because it's Mei. It's gonna be Mei. So, as soon as we see Dragon Blades running out, we should be more willing to give up on that one, seeing that Mei is right there, and we had definitely captured the checkpoint. So it's not like we needed to get that kill to capture the checkpoint or anything. Tried to deflect at the Reaper. Reaper didn't shoot into us and therefore didn't kill himself. Very tragic. Reaper is now dead because we have a Torbjorn on our team suddenly. Not suddenly, we've actually had him for a little while at this point. It's just not really been an issue. So there, Reinhardt decided he didn't want to live anymore, so that's nice. Very, very obliging of him. Hanzo did that. That was a very poor use of company resources. It looks like it got eaten by D.Va. Even if it didn't, that would have still been a bad ultimate. So, you know. Yeah, let's try and kill this Mei when she comes out. Did we actually fire the shurikens before we dashed? Yeah, we did. Alright. That was pretty impressive, actually. I didn't even know if we actually shot the shurikens or threw the shurikens before we dashed. Try and deflect Fire Strike if at all possible, because if you can hit somebody with it, that's a lot of ult charge for you right there. And bare minimum, like, it's worth doing even if you can't hit anybody with the Fire Strike, because you deny the enemy Reinhardt ult charge off of deflecting it anyway, so even if you can't really do anything with it, it's still the kind of thing that's worth deflecting regardless, just to hinder the enemy team. Same with, like, Moira Orb. It's worth deflecting even if you can't, like, really throw it anywhere convenient, because it fucks with their Moira's ability to build ult charge. So we're trying to hit this Reinhardt. We're never going to kill this Reinhardt in this position because he's got Mercy tethered to him, but we are generating a lot of ult charge off of just bullying him, so that's cool. Like, we got, like, I think 20% off of just bullying Reinhardt right here. We could have gone for the Mercy as well, this is true, rather than trying to kill the Reinhardt, but we're really close to having Dragon Blade, so just, like, bullying the Reinhardt also is the correct decision for its own different reasons, to just build up Dragon Blade as quickly as possible. Try to deflect back at the Hanzo. He didn't do so. Sad times. Now we've got Dragon Blade built up. That's cool. We're almost at the end of the track, so hopefully Dragon Blade will be enough to get us to the end of the track, because they don't have any ultimates really right now. Their Reinhardt probably has Earth Shatter, and their Mei might have Blizzard, so that's scary. But they don't have, like, a lot of ultimates, and Dragon Blade is better than those ultimates. Also, if, like, they just decide they want to die before the team fight even starts, that's also convenient and helpful for us. Mei, like, must have Blizzard, though. Surely. But it doesn't matter. They've all, like, been killing themselves right now. So we're just going to pull out Dragon Blade right now and kill these people as they're coming out of the gate, which is fair enough. Just a thing, we're trying to kill Mercy with Dragon Blade in general, because I imagine Mercy is, like, our primary target when we plan to do this. The idea, well, even, like, in general, but, like, particularly with Mercy, or somebody with mobility in general, the idea is dash up to them, then pull out the Dragon Blade, because pulling out the Dragon Blade resets your dash. So the idea is you dash up to the Mercy, pull out Dragon Blade, she's going to GA away from you, and then you follow her with the reset, and then you kill her. This is true. You can do this also with anybody. Dash up to Moira, pull out sword, she's going to fade, look for where she goes, follow her, you know, that kind of thing. Also, just in general, you can dash through the person, get the damage off of them with the dash, draw the blade, cut them, and then dash again if you have to make sure they die. But with Mercy in particular, you've got to, like, she's gonna GA away from you. So if your goal is to kill Mercy, dash up to the Mercy first, pull it off, follow her with the reset, and then kill her. And then you can resume killing people with the Dragon Blade. Even if you're just, like, killing somebody in general, like, dashing through them and then pulling out the Dragon Blade, it's just, like, you know, It's just a slightly more efficient use of your resources, because if it's gonna reset your dash regardless, you might as well use the dash before the reset to get some damage in, and then get the reset off of it. Rather than, you know, otherwise you can just miss out on a whole extra dash in there by not doing it before you pull out the Dragon Blade. So now we have to defend Rialto, and as you can see, we're all up here. We're all gonna have a great time sitting behind this Orisa barrier. That dude decided to pick Winston. Like, honestly, he might as well just gone all in and picked Reinhardt, right? I've just heard a Sombra, I believe. 100% just heard a Sombra behind us somewhere. It sounded like she was hacking a health kit. So, that's scary to us as Zenyatta, you know. There's the Sombra. Sombra's dead now. She's bad. They also have a Tracer. So they've got a Widowmaker, a Sombra, and a Tracer. All of these are scary things for Zenyatta, but, you know, we're sitting up here having a great time on the high ground right now. Don't stand perfectly still. Ever. Just makes it easier for you to kill. Don't ever be standing perfectly still. It just increases the chances of you dying. I get that we're trying to shoot these people right now from this angle, but we know that, like, they have a Widow, so standing like this is scary because we're not behind the barrier. So risk of death increased. Also, you know, they're pretty likely to have a Hanzo in this day and age. Same issue. It's like if there's a barrier there. Zenyatta's already easy enough to kill. You don't need to make it easier for people by just standing out in front of barriers and to the sides of them, you know? We've fallen off of the high ground right now, which is obviously bad. And oh no, look at that. Watch where you're stepping. To be, like, the balcony is, like, smaller than I always think it is when I'm standing up there as well. But watch where you're stepping. That death wholly came because we fell off of the high ground. And then Sombra was like, oh, sick. Look at that, a present right into my waiting arms. Watch where you're stepping. I know Zenyatta isn't actually stepping anywhere. That's why he's the best flanker, right? Me, Galaxy Brain, pick Zenyatta as a flanker because he doesn't have footsteps, so they can't hear you coming. Think about it. You come around the corner, primed right click, let's go. Yeah, watch where you're stepping, though. Probably don't need a laborious reason we died right there. It was probably relatively self-explanatory. But yeah, watch where you're stepping. So, now we're back up here. Not much happened while we were gone. This is like the Rialto experience, honestly. I did think that Rialto was like a relatively well-balanced map. But having played on it more and more, I think the first checkpoint is obnoxiously difficult to capture. I don't, like, to be fair, I don't know what they could do to this checkpoint to make it easier to capture, but I feel like this checkpoint is very difficult to capture because it's like one very fucking long choke point, basically, because you come out, you gotta go over the bridge. This is already an annoying place to get across, especially since there's death drops on both sides of the bridge. And they're going to be shooting at you from high ground as you're coming, so, you know, Hanzo shooting down at you behind an Orisa barrier and all that, fun times. So you got to get through that, and then you got to go through the death corridor to the right as well, and then you have the big open courtyard at the end of all of that as well, which is a very terrible place to lose momentum in. Because if you lose momentum pushing through the courtyard, it's very difficult to get that momentum going again after that point. So I think that Rialto's first checkpoint might need some adjustment, but to be fair, I don't know what they could do at the same time. So it could just be I'm bad also, but I find the first checkpoint on Rialto to be very annoying. Just like, very aggravating to attack. So we have fallen, we jumped off the high ground, actually. This didn't look accidental. Mostly because we jump as we're doing it as well. So this didn't look accidental. We don't want to be down here. We do end up dodging the Emp as a result, but being on the low ground is just significantly scarier, especially when most of our team is up on the high ground. So we, like, leave our team and put ourselves in a scary position. We know in hindsight we would have gotten Emp'd if we stood up there, which is, like, basically a death sentence for Zenyatta regardless, because it does 150 damage to you because it takes your shields off. But, the low ground is a higher percentage chance of you dying than staying up there on average. High ground's really strong, as it turns out. So now, courtyard area, also not that hard to defend, really, because they have this. It's like, they've also decided that they all want to try and fight us around this little plaza part in the center, like, you know, this little plaza part. This whole thing is a plaza, isn't it? They want to fight us around these little shrubberies around the center rather than just, like, staying behind their payload. The Rialto payload is, like, the best payload in the game. Like, it is such a good source of cover while you're pushing forwards. So, instead of electing to, like, walk around the shrubberies, which are significantly worse cover, is not recommended. What isn't the lore on this map some nonsense like the attacking team is trying to deliver a bottle of wine to the final checkpoint and they just like really violently don't want you to deliver it or something like that? Whatever. Overwatch is a stupid game. I don't know if you've noticed that. So, we've gone very far forward, haven't we? I was talking about my own nonsense at the time, but we've come really far forward. We don't want to be doing this as Zenyatta, because think about how far you've got to go to get back to safety. You've got to go all the way across the courtyard. That's a long way to go, especially as a slow boy like Zenyatta. So we end up having to pop trans just to survive, which we don't want to have to do, if at all possible. It's not going to matter. Not to spoil the outcome or anything, 3 seconds before the end, but it didn't matter. So, that's cool and all, but we did push, like, very aggressively forward as Zenyatta, which you don't really want to do. Zenyatta wants to be as far away from people as possible. You don't want to be close to people. They want to kill you! And you're a floating box! Your hitbox is literally a floating cube. You don't need to make it easier for these boys. They're already going to be after you. That's a textbook Torbjorn play of the game right there. Look at this gentle fade out. There's still so much... Oh. Let's not have the music play right there. Although you can't hear the music regardless, so there's music playing. Let's see what we got in the recommended, seeing as we're right at the end today. Okay, so this is already very poor algorithm because I don't speak the moon runes. I don't speak any variety of moon runes. So this is already very bad on the algorithm. I hate Johnny Knoxville. So that's also bad. I never watched a Fortnite video. All animated short trailers, okay. 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 The YouTube algorithm is super fucked up, isn't it? Holy shit. Anyway, whatever. So, I can't think of a recurring thing except watch while you're stepping as Zenyatta, but that's also because it happened less than 5 minutes ago, so I remember it nice and clearly. I have a very short-term memory. I watch these videos through ahead of time, and then when I actually sit down to record it, I'm surprised at every turn. Oh, that happened! Right, I'd forgotten all about that. We're in Plat also, which is usually when there are less, like, broadly recurring issues, because most, big issues tend to have been hammered out by that point, and it tends to be more about refinement once you get to, like, Platinum range, so. Short video, we won really easily, so there's kind of less to talk about. Would recommend sending in a longer, closer game to get more, detailed feedback, because, yeah, this wasn't a super difficult game, so there's, less to talk about by extension. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us, and I hope you found the video helpful.